In this video, we're going to talk about Cipher and why 99% of the player base should skip this character, even though I believe is a very strong character. Cipher should be releasing in a few days' time, and she's another Nihility addition that we have to the roster, and she brings a lot of new stuff to the table, but I believe that she is not worth getting and or investing in for the majority of the player base. However, if you are one of those people like me who are going to be pulling for at least one copy of Cipher and her light cone, this may be helpful for you. The link in the description is going to take you to lubar.gg, the trusted top-up site that allows you to buy currencies for your favorite Hoyo games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star, and Zone Zero at a discounted price. Right now, they have a 25% discount on Honkai Star. They also have a 5-star rating on Trustpilot with over 18,000 reviews. The process is also very simple. All you need is your UID for your game and your server. Please make sure this information is correct. After that, you're going to select what pack you're going to purchase, and then after you click top up now and follow the payment information, you are going to receive your Jades directly in your game in a matter of a minute or so. All right. What? The process is very simple, fast, and easy. So click the link in the description and get your discount on your seller Jades over at lubar.gg. I'm going to very briefly go over what Cipher does, and you can actually go and do this yourself in the current event, the Baseballer. Very fun event, but you can actually use Cipher in the 5th stage, and in the 6th stage also you can use her as well. But you can use Cipher there and try her out. But essentially, Cipher is an Nihility character that has 40% vulnerability on everything that moves in the opponent's side of the field, which is pretty nasty. In point of comparison, Jiao has 35 and 15 when it comes to an ultimate, so 50 compared to 40, and then also Topaz and Numbi has 50, but only on a single target. She has 40 on everyone. If you have her light cone, then you also can get up to a 24% defense shred. And if you have seen some of my videos when I compare the two, it's actually a very deadly combination for the enemies. Now, her personal multipliers are actually very low. This is to include her blast skill, her blast ultimate, and her follow-up. All of them have very low multipliers, so her personal damage is not going to be that great. Where she is going to excel is going to be in her reapplication of damage dealt already to the enemies. So she has a mechanic to where all the damage that has been done to the enemies, or some of the damage that has been done to the enemies, she's going to take a part of it and then she's going to store it in the back pocket. And then when you are ready, you can unleash all of that damage back into the enemy as true damage. So it's not going to be affected by any of the, I guess, detracting factors in the damage formula. So she's the type of character, and I say this pretty much every time I talk about Cipher, that the better the overall team is, the better Cipher will be. So if you have a bad team, she's going to be terrible. If you have a really good team, then she's going to be insanely strong. But by virtue of being Nihility and also having follow-up attacks and all these debuffs, she fits into a lot of teams that require one or multiple of those things. For example, Fei Zhao, she loves follow-up attacks, and she's also a very fast character. So for high frequency of attacks mixed with follow-ups equals Fei Zhao stonks. Similarly with Acheron, she has a debuff application on her skill. She has a debuff application just by existing, and if you have her light cone, she will have a debuff application pretty much any time that she moves. So for Acheron, she is also very good. However, for example, in the same Acheron team that we were just talking about, if you have your Acheron at E0 as 0, then she is at best situational. She will be the best option situationally, but for the most part, Jiao is still going to be the number one, right? If you have Jiao and Cipher together, that's going to be the number one pairing as of right now, yielding a 40% damage increase when you compare to Jiao and Pella, which used to be the second one. Also, if you compare Cipher and Silverwolf, even Cipher and Silverwolf, by removing Jiao, you get a 60% damage increase. So it's actually not that different, but still Jiao is proving to be the best in slot. Now, the two main teams that people are going to be running, essentially, if you have a Jiao already, is going to be either Jiao Cipher if you are going to go for that, or Jiao Silverwolf if you have that. So Jiao Silverwolf at worst is going to be a little bit about 13% less than if you just have the Cipher. Cipher resolution is going to be 6% less, and it's because you have 8% extra defense down there from Cipher's S1. But all of these numbers just to say that if you already have Acheron and Jiao, and let's say you don't have her E2, that if you have Silverwolf, that can work. The only way that it could be a little bit like too much is if you don't have anyone, right? If you just have Jiao by itself and you're running like Acheron with like Sunday at E0, then that can work, but it's not optimal. And even then, I would still urge you to just not invest in an Acheron team this late in the game. Like, unless you absolutely love Acheron, that is the only way. Or another reason would be if Cipher would also complete your Fei Zhao team. So I don't have the calcs for Fei Zhao team. The calcs aren't in a table like this for easy eye digestion, but she does provide a full 40% vulnerability AoE to everyone on the field. So anybody that gets hit, it's not like Numbi that you have to have the proof of dead on it. And sometimes RNG can get kind of iffy, and then proof of dead can land somewhere else, and then you have to manually move it. You don't have to do that with Cipher. She can just like exist and have the full 40% vulnerability. She will have the application of the defense down as well, something that Topaz just doesn't have. The only thing is that Topaz has more frequency of attacks because she does have the Numbi follow-ups. So in terms of stack generation, I think Topaz is still going to be a lot better. However, I think in overall damage, Cipher is going to outperform Topaz. And it essentially comes down to Cipher not being the best in slot support or sub DPS for pretty much anyone, but being a strong replacement for everyone. You can slot Cipher into pretty much any single team that's already doing a high amount of damage. For example, you can slot Cipher in as a sub DPS for a Caster's team if that's what you want to do, right? You can do that because Caster's does enough damage to where Cipher can store a lot of that damage and deal it back towards the end of the fight. You can pretty much throw Cipher anywhere. I kind of make the analogy that Cipher is the sub DPS Tribi. So even though Tribi is already a sub DPS, but Tribi is like a Harmony sub DPS. I'm thinking like she's kind of like the splashable sub DPS that you can just throw in any team and she will function really well, and mainly because of that 40% vulnerability on everyone. That's kind of crazy. That makes her good in single target, makes her good on AoE. It just makes her really good. She's just not the best in any of the current teams that are the best teams. She's not the best in Herta teams. She's not the best in Caster's teams. Not the best in Mighty teams. She's not going to be the best in pretty much any of the other teams. Not the Herta team, not the Aglaya teams. Any of those teams. She's only very strong in Acheron's and Fei Zhao teams, which are really good teams, but they're not near the top of the best teams that we have currently in the game. And that is why my main advice is for people who are not extreme fanatics of Cipher to just skip Cipher altogether. We are going to get a bunch of great characters coming up in the near future, pretty much in the next patch, and they're going to completely blow Cipher out of the water. Cipher may gain value in the future if we get another true damage buffer later on, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you going to pull for Cipher? Leave it in the comments. Until next time, guys. See ya.